Plaintiffs Joyce Gaff and her husband Tim rented a house to the defendant and her husband, and he says the police were called to their home more than once. Tim claims on one occasion the police were called after the defendant and her husband had a physical altercation, and they're suing her today for rent and a loan. Defendant Destiny Bradley says she's a single mom of 4, and her husband is currently incarcerated. Destiny says she thought the plaintiffs were good people until they harassed her at work and caused her to lose her job. She's countersuing for harassment.
Start with you.
Okay. Your Honor, on or about last year in August, we rented out our house to Destiny and her husband. We felt that from looking over at their application that they needed some assistance and maybe a new start. They had 4 young children. During that period of time, during the year, her husband was in and out of jail numerous times.
Did he work there?
I'm sorry?
Did he work at the jail? Doyle wants to know. That's a good.
Oh, no, he was incarcerated.
A resident?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's where he is now.
Okay.
Also, during that year, a couple of times the police were called to their residence. One time, the police were called because one of their younger children, 2 or 3 years old, was out on the streets.
Go ahead.
Another time, they were called because of the husband and Destiny got into a fight, and there was some physical abuse, and I think battery charges were pressed against him.
How much was the rent per month?
So either $500 or $650, depending on how many weeks there are. It's basically $125 a week.
Okay. Before we get into the specifics of the rent and loan, let me allow her to give some background. Ma'am?
Yes, sir. I am a single mom of 4 kids. My husband is incarcerated.
Incarcerated often, as they say?
Yes.
Does he have a drug problem or something?
Yes, he does.
You ever been to treatment?
He's been to treatment, and
How many times?
I would say once. He went once.
And how
He
long
lost his
is-
mother.
How long has he been on drugs?
Off and on for years, sir.
And they don't order him to drug treatment when he's in jail?
No.
Well, that's one of
No,
the things
sir.
that's wrong with the jail system. It doesn't make sense to keep putting people in jail who have drug habits. They come right back out if you don't order them to get treatment and in-house treatment, or don't give them in-house treatment while they're in jail. They're just going to do the same thing. Going to come back out, rip somebody else off, go back in, then you got to pay for them, cost us money, let them out with no treatment. They go back out, do the same thing, victimize somebody, go back in because they were drug addicts. They're going to stay in there, get their drugs in there for the most part. So, all right, I get the picture, and you got to stay home with the 4 kids. I understand that.
Yes.
That happens an awful lot.
Yeah.
All right, so that's your situation there. What else you want to tell me?
Tim and Joyce, they were good people. They were nice to me, and I will tell you that they were really good people. But then more stuff added on, and they pursued me to lose my job by them coming in.
I guess that's the harassment. We'll get into that.
All right.
But I'm glad that he said they were good folks, and people come in and they owe money, and they'll find everything they can to say something bad about the folks who have given them a break. We'll see how the rest of it goes, but so far, you're all right. You even got a pitiful look. That helps. So go ahead, sir. Tell me the specifics of the rent and the loans.
Okay. Basically, they started getting behind in rent in January, and we have a document here shows how much they paid each month and how much they got behind. And then also they called us in April, and they had a bed bug infection, and they couldn't afford to have the place exterminated, so we gave them a loan of which they agreed to pay back and signed.
Is that what you have?
Yes, $1,310. They agreed to pay $100 a week, of which we haven't received any money, but we went ahead and paid it for them, and they agreed to pay that.
All right. Do you deny the rent and the loan or not?
No, I don't.
You admit to owing that.
I admit to owing it.
You all seem so
Sir, okay, so I told Tim that I would go back to the house and that I would clean it up, all right? Because, you know, I did get along with them. I did have respect for them, all right? Well, I'm a bartender. So the day that I was supposed to go clean the house, I wasn't able to go to clean the house. So he could not called me once, but he called me twice as I'm at work, and I can't answer the phone, but I made sure I answered it just because, you know, I knew that he was upset about it. Well, I'm a single mom. It's hard for me to take my kids to go clean this house that's empty, like all of our stuff's out, except I need to get trash bags and I do need to clean it. And they just kept on going and going and going. And he came in once and told me that he was gonna sue my husband. And where's he at? I don't know. I had no idea where he was. You know what I mean? So I handed him $100 because I knew that's why he was coming in there. So that was the first time he came in the bar. Well, the second time, I've got evidence right here that I have voicemails from Tim. I have a text message from Joyce. On the day that she sent me the text message that I need to get a hold of her immediately, she comes into the bar, causes a scene, tells everybody, to all my customers, all of them, talks about how I'm a bad mom because I had to put locks on top of my doors because DCS told me to, so my son wouldn't get out. Makes me feel like a piece of crap in front of everyone, to the point I lost my job. And I have a witness here that was there that day. And
Folks?
Your Honor, that is not true. Destiny had called Tim and left a message that she was going to be moving. She wasn't evicted from the house. Mm-hmm. She was going to be moving, and agreed to meet him on the 16th. The message, she had called you on the 10th. On the 16th, Destiny had agreed to meet Tim at the property to do a walkthrough. We were both going to be there, and she did not show up. So he called just to see if she had been detained or what the situation was, and that was on the 16th. And he left multiple messages, and we have phone records to support that, just to find out what is your intention, when can we get the keys back, etc. She was not responding during the period of time with any calls unless she was at work 24/7. And on the 22nd, which was a Saturday, at approximately 2 p.m., I texted her just to say, we need to talk to you. We needed to get the keys. We needed to know that, you know, you are totally out. Once again, nothing. We didn't have a forwarding address. We did not know where she was, except for where she worked. So we had gone to the place of work to get the keys, and so that we could close that chapter.
All right, you got to finish the rest, though. You got to tell me the rest.
Of
when you got there.
what I talked to her, I asked him if I could woman to woman talk to her. And so the first thing that Destiny said to me when we walked in, was, you cannot be here, you have to leave. And so she said, the manager will be upset. And I said, if the manager's here, I will ask if I can just talk to you to get the keys back. So at that point in time, she just kept saying, you know, I know I owe you money. And I said, well, I'm not going to leave until I have the keys. And she turned over the keys to me then.
How about making a scene?
No, there was no scene. There was this lady and another customer close to where Destiny and I were talking.
I'm going to ask her to tell me what she observed. Ma'am, what's your name? You can remain seated.
I'm Pam Murphy.
What do you want to tell me? What's your understanding or observation?
Well, I was just sitting there minding my own business, and then Joyce had come in and started talking with Des, and I didn't know what their discussion was at first, but she kept getting louder and louder and louder. And I told her, you know, this isn't the place to bring that up.
And that is
And
not
she
true.
told me
Let her
not.
finish.
She told me to mind my own business. And everybody in the bar heard her go off on us.
Yeah. And ma'am,
And then she ended up getting fired for it.
you do know that.
Yes.
What a tragedy here. And it's tragedy on both sides. But ma'am, you all knew the address. You could have sent a letter. But for you to go there and say, I'm not leaving, they cost her job. And she has a witness that backs up what she says about your behavior. She admits to owing, a victim of her husband's, is your husband?
Yes, sir.
Drug abuse. So I'm gonna grant your judgment. However, I'm gonna grant her. So you all gonna owe her a few dollars. $3,000 minus $26.85.
$315.
So she's left with $315. You get yours, she gets hers. Have a good day.
Thank you.
We want to tell Destiny we hope that things improve for the sake of her children. That's for sure.
I do apologize. You guys are good people. And I hate that it turned out this way for both of us.